Without warning, it began to descend. Deeper and deeper. Deeper, deeper, deeper still. Deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper. We get it, Makoto, God. Deeper and deeper, it fell. I closed my eyes and sight fell away. All sound too disappeared. Alone in the universe, I waited for the elevator doors to open for the last time. What could have been seconds or centuries later, I felt the gentle vibration of the elevator come to an end. I slowly opened my eyes. This is the final trial site? What do you think? Isn't it just the perfect background for deciding a person's fate?
Yahoo!
It's the long-awaited last stage, the always exciting final boss battle. And I'm gonna sit in on this one. I'll just sit right here in the vacant 16th seat.
Thrills, chills, kills!
Well then, let's begin. The only two things that I think are the case right now is I think Mukuro faked her death using Junko's body, and somehow we have all lost our memories, and we were here before, but I don't know. I don't know where the story's going at this point. I don't need to set any skills because I haven't gotten any new ones. I'm gonna just stick with what I have. Let's do it. Finish preparations, let's go. Send this. Class trial, all rise.
Since this will be the final class trial, I've come up with a special rule.
Oh god, you're gonna make this hard, aren't you?
So listen up! If you can figure out Mukuro's killer and go on to solve the mystery of this school, you guys win!
Well, we knew that already.
But if you can't, then I win!
And we figured that.
And of course, waiting for the loser is the super exciting, super heart-pounding punishment!
Are you saying that if you lose, you'll execute yourself?
Yep, sure will.
And that's final? No loopholes? No wiggling out of it later?
Of course not! Bears never go back on their word!
He's confident he's gonna win.
Never mind all that. I just have one question for you.
Oh, you're taking this serious, huh? Are you feeling okay?
Is the mastermind only one person?
Hmm?
Don't bother. I already know the answer. You're all the mastermind, aren't you? You're all out to get me! I'm right, aren't I? I knew it!
Alright. Group photo, places to check, Headmaster's e-handbook.
You guys have all been working together, haven't you? I have evidence, so I know I'm right!
Hey, you stole my line. You're all out to get me. I'm sure of it. I have evidence of my own.
What a coincidence. I too have evidence to present.
The group
Evidence
photo.
that proves everyone other than me has been working together.
What? Wait, hold on. This doesn't make any sense.
There's only one thing to shoot.
How can the three of us each have that kind of evidence?
I missed, really? All three of them think that everyone around them is their enemy. There's no doubt this is a trap Monokuma set. He set it up so we would suspect each other. And I have something that proves it. Yeah, it's gotta be the group photo. Alright, so I just gotta not miss this time. I can do that, surely. Maybe all their photos are different.
How can the three of us each have that?
No, what's wrong?
Figured I'd use our slow down ability for that.
It's not just you three. I have evidence too.
What? You too?
The evidence you're all referring to is this group photo, right?
Well, yeah. Huh? Wait, but mine's different.
So that was a trap.
With the picture you have, I'm in it. But that can't be right. Because in my picture... See? I'm the only one not in it.
Oh, everybody has different photos. Okay, so I'm just glancing at the photo here. Junko's face is hidden still. I figured as much, in which case...
Hiro, you have a picture too, right? Let's see it.
Okay, but be careful with it. It's pretty important evidence.
This one too, it's just like I thought. Junko's not showing her face again. What in the hell is up with this? But Bukuro's over on left there.
So the secret in these pictures has been revealed.
Let's see Byakuyo's and Toko's.
Secret or whatever, I don't care. You guys are all in on this together. That's why I'm the only one missing.
But you're in my picture. You're the ones trying to trick me.
So the whole purpose behind these photos was to get us questioning and fighting with each other. The mastermind laid a trap to make us each think everyone else was working against us.
Huh? I laid a trap? A trap? How rude! What grounds do you have for such audacious accusations?
Proof I need to reveal Monokuma's trap. Each photo has a certain something in common. There's a connection regarding what person isn't shown in the group photos. And that person is Toko, Monokuma, the ones who got the photos. That's obvious. I thought we just said that.
I got it! In each case, the only one not in the picture is the person who received it. So, in the picture I got, I'm the only one missing. In the picture Hina got, she's the only one missing. And in the picture Hiro got, he's the only one missing.
As long as we're talking about it, I suppose I should show you my photo as well.
What the?
In other words, Monokuma gave each of us a group photo in which that person wasn't included.
I really wish they would have lingered on that picture for a little bit, because it looked like Sakura was given a shuriken to a fish.
When we each saw our picture, we just assumed everyone else was the enemy?
Figured it out, huh?
Yeah, I thought that must be it. But how was that a hint?
But you know, there might be more to this than just Monokuma trying to confuse us. There's something else that bothers me about everyone's pictures. What is it? Was digging at me.
Listen, can I see everyone's group photo one more time? It's not directly connected to what we're talking about, but I'd like to double check something.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, I don't mind.
I'm sure there's something unusual about these group photos. What is it? I need to compare each of them one more time. Byakuyo's picture. Hold up. Okay. Hina, Mondo, Bukuro, Chiro, Taka, Hiro. Junko's getting splashed in the face by Leon. You can't see her face again. Sakura is in fact shurikening a giant fish. Hina's picture. Hiro's picture. And mine. Well, what about Toko's? Or did Toko not get one? There's something strange about all of them. Something I can't quite pin down. Something... Group photo has been updated in the True Coolest section of your handbook. This has something to do with Junko.
Can you just forget about the photo already? Ugh. Trying to trick me with such an obviously fake photo? I'm still pissed about that.
And on top of that, they went to all that trouble to make it look like we were wearing matching uniforms.
So you think they're fake? No, no, no. I assure you, they're quite real.
What are you talking about? There's no way.
Yeah! I don't remember ever taking a picture like that. So it's gotta be a fake. I'm sure of it.
But you know, can we really be so sure?
Huh?
Don't get me wrong, I don't remember taking this picture either. But is that really enough to be absolutely positive they're fake?
What do you mean?
The reason I don't remember this picture isn't necessarily because it's fake. There might be some other reason. Oh, I just realized Toko might not have gotten a picture because she was unconscious. She was passed out. Because she was looking at that body in a biolab. That makes sense. Some terrible reason. An unbelievable but entirely horrifying reason. Hangman's Gambit. I'm not sure what this would be. Amnesia, I think. Yeah, okay. Shoot, this is... S. I need an A. Okay.
Now I understand. Let's say that somehow we'd all lost our memories. That could explain it, couldn't it?
Oh, I get it. So we all just lost our memories at the same time and forgot about the photo. Makes sense. As if. You expect me to believe such an unbelievable occult-type story?
Do they know about Kyoko losing her memory?
Yeah, we all lost our memories? That's just crazy.
It's only natural that they wouldn't believe it. But no matter how much they refuse, if that's the absolute truth, they have no choice. We can't move forward until they accept it. And there's another way to prove it besides those pictures. Okay. Monokuma control. Whoa. Oh man, there's 5 of them. Hold up. Group photo. Master Z handbook. Profile. Bullshit.
You're saying we all got spontaneous amnesia? Since when did this turn into some kind of sci-fi fantasy?
I promise you, I haven't lost my memory. Ever since I got to this school, I remember everything that's happened.
That's probably wrong.
The idea that we all lost our memories.
It's totally stupid.
Okay.
Obviously.
So we need to shoot what Hina says. We just gotta shoot the right thing. There must be more evidence than those pictures that we all lost our memories. I need a chance to actually look at the bullets. Hold on.
You're saying we all
Headmaster's
got
handbook,
spontaneous
group
amnesia?
photo,
Since
interview
when did this turn into
DVD.
some kind of sci-fi
Interview
fantasy?
DVD? Headmaster's Z
I promise you,
handbook.
I haven't lost my memory. Ever since I got
Nico's
to this
profile,
school,
yeah.
I
Interview
remember
DVD.
everything that's happened.
Oh, that was slick.
No, that's wrong.
These aren't that bad so far because they're only giving you one thing to shoot.
Those photos aren't the only things that point to the possibility of memory loss. This DVD does the same thing.
You're not gonna show us something indecent, are you?
Seems like the perfect time.
No, it's nothing like that. It's a video of all of us being interviewed by the Hope's Peak Academy headmaster.
When you say all of us, you mean
I mean all of us, including you.
you lied? I never did any kind of interview.
No, it's not a lie. Just watch the DVD and you'll see for yourself. The headmaster did, in fact, interview you.
What are you saying?
I didn't imagine you would remember.
It's not about whether or not I remember. You expect me to believe all this? That I lost my memory somehow?
Well, we don't have any way to refute it, so we have no choice but to accept it as reality.
How can you say that? We're talking about living, breathing amnesia here.
To be honest, I have something else on my mind right now.
Something else?
You said the DVD contains recordings of us being interviewed by the headmaster, right? What were the interviews about?
The headmaster sat each of us down, one at a time, and asked us the same question. He asked us if we could accept the idea of spending the rest of our lives in this school.
What kind of question is that?
And how did we answer?
We'd say no, obviously.
Actually, we all said we could. Even me. I heard myself say yes. I could spend the rest of my life at this school.
Why? Why would you say yes to something like that?
I don't know. I don't remember a thing.
The same goes for everyone else. Nobody remembers. You don't remember choosing to live here forever, or even talking to the headmaster about it at all.
It doesn't matter if I remember or not. Even if I bought the whole amnesia thing, the idea that I would want to live here forever? That's just insane! How can I believe that?
Insane or not, we can't move forward until you accept it. Am I right?
You sure are, 'cause it's all true.
That was helpful.
What?
I know it sounds absurd, but if it's the truth, there's nothing we can do about it.
Indeed. We only have one path in front of us.
Then, we really...
Yep, you all totally lost your memory at the same time.
I've had that figured for a while.
This is all making my head hurt.
And this isn't like some normal kind of memory loss. You stole those specific memories from us, didn't you?
Oopsie, you figured that part out too, huh?
Of course. There's no way we would all just happen to get amnesia at the same time.
How could someone just steal our memories?
How? Come, that hardly matters right now. If I said it was hypnotism, would you believe me? Or we opened up your skulls and messed with your brains? Would you really believe anything I said? How it happened doesn't matter right now.
What matters is figuring out what memories you took from us. That's what you're trying to say, right?
I knew I could count on you.
The interview with the headmaster, taking that group photo, those can't be the only memories we lost. There must have been a purpose to it all. A reason for taking away our memories.
Of course there was a purpose. It all has to do with the original motive.
The original motive.
You mean the motive you came up with to try and get us to all kill each other?
That has something to do with the memories you stole from us?
It sure does. But that part's still a secret. Anyway, I'm sure it's not easy, but let's all focus on the class trial for the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba.
Okay, so you want us to figure out who killed her before we do anything else.
So until we do that, well, either way we have to explain every last remaining mystery. So, the one who killed Mukuro, the true mastermind, that's what we need to expose. Monokuma control room, Mukuro's profile, headmaster's e-handbook. Mashirada handbook would come into play.
So who did it? Who killed her?
Whoever did it is the same one who's behind everything. That much I'm sure of.
She's
When you
right.
think about it, is the mastermind really here in the school?
Of course! They have to be here somewhere.
What makes you so sure?
What does make me so sure?
Exactly! You're just making stuff up. There's no way the mastermind is here. The mastermind is probably a million miles away. Because masterminds always lurk off in the background, right?
I'm positive they're somewhere in this school, otherwise there's no way they could have controlled that machine. Control room.
So who did it? Who killed her?
It's what Toko says.
Whoever did it is the same one who's behind everything.
Yeah, that's correct.
That much I'm sure of.
But when you think about it, is the mastermind really here in the school?
Of course! They have to be here somewhere.
She's
What
right.
makes you so sure?
Toko's one is wrong.
Does make me so sure.
Exactly. You're just making stuff up. There's no way the mastermind is here. The mastermind is probably a million miles.
No, it's wrong. There's no question that the mastermind is somewhere within the school.
How do you know? Did you find some evidence or something?
In the back of the data center, I found a panel that controls Monokuma. The mastermind must have been using that to control him all this time. So there can't be any doubt. The mastermind has been inside the school all along.
There can't be any doubt. In which case, there also can be no doubt that the mastermind is one of us.
What? Why?
Recall what Makoto told us Monokuma said to him earlier.
I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in Hope's Peak since the killing game began are those 16 students. It has to be Mukuro. I don't think that's Mukuro's body.
So if the mastermind is in the school, we have to assume it can only be that 16th student.
How'd they manage to survive all of this?
So we're the only ones here? It's not me! I'm not the mastermind!
Well, it's not me!
I blame Makoto!
What? Why me?
'Cause it's super weird how you're the only one who survived being executed.
Oh, I get it! The only way he could have survived is if he was actually the mastermind himself, right?
Did you guys not see Alter Ego?
Aw, nuts! You got me!
Wait! What are you trying to say?
Everyone, calm down. There's no reason to panic. The mastermind's true identity will become clear soon enough. Just as soon as we find out who killed Mukuro.
That's a good point. Rather than wasting time bickering, we should put our minds to work solving this mystery.
Yeah, well, how much time have we already spent talking about the murder?
He's right. What more is there to talk about?
If you want something to talk about, I think there might be one thing. We haven't fully established what Mukuro's fatal injury was.
Huh? But I thought we figured that out. She died when she got hit in the back of the head.
No, that isn't actually what killed her. It was something entirely different. Wouldn't you agree, Makoto?
Mukuro's actual cause of death must have been... We know it wasn't a stab wound, and we know it wasn't a blow to her head, so the other wounds.
I got it! All of the wounds covering her body. That's what really killed her.
Hey, now hold on a second. You did read the Monokuma file, right?
The body was covered with other wounds, but these were at least several days old.
It made it pretty clear. Those wounds were made at least a few days ago. So they can't possibly be what killed her.
Consider this. What if the murder itself took place at least a few days ago?
There you go.
What?
What if, when we discovered her body, she'd already been dead for several days? If that's true, then naturally the wounds that killed her would appear to be however many days old.
That doesn't make any sense. Because she had all those wounds before she ever came here.
Huh? How do you know that?
Isn't it obvious? She was the ultimate soldier, right? So that means, you know.
Actually, something said she didn't have any wounds. Was it her, like, profile or something?
You're wrong.
She denied me. Before I could even say anything. Come on. I mean, you
If you're so sure we're going to deny you, why bother saying it in the first place? Group photo. Oh, Jesus, God. I hate when they throw 5 of these at me at once.
Mukuro was the ultimate soldier.
Well, that's right.
She must have been in 100 different battles. So, when you think about it, obviously, she got all those wounds in battle.
Oh man, that's gonna be hard when I hit.
You didn't deny me this time, Ugh, you made me go all cutesy.
Don't worry, there wasn't anything cute about it.
Okay, it's the spinning thing that Toko was saying. No, those wounds didn't come from the battlefield. One look at what was written about her, and that should become clear. So we need a profile, which I have, right?
Mukuro was the ultimate soldier.
Yes.
She must have been in 100 different battles. So, when you think about it,
Okay, this is gonna be...
obviously, she got all those wounds in
Oh,
battle.
that's gonna be hard to hit. I'm gonna have to slow it down again, probably.
So, when you think about it, obviously, she got all those...
I didn't have to slow it down that time.
No, Mukuro didn't suffer those wounds in battle. The file we found in the headmaster's room said as much. Despite the time she spent in battle after battle as a member of Fenrir, when she entered this school, she hadn't sustained a single injury.
To be denied so completely. Actually, it's kind of refreshing. Maybe it's because of all of Master's training.
Anyway, so we can be sure that Mukuro suffered all those wounds after coming to this school. In which case, they could be the very thing that killed her.
As a matter of fact, it's hard to imagine any other possibility. When examining her body, I found that her stomach and head wounds came after she was already dead.
Unless anyone has any better suggestions, I think we can say this with confidence. The wounds Mukuro sustained all over her body are what ultimately killed her.
Mukuro's fatal injury has been added to the truth bullet section. Yeah, wounds all over the body. That fits with Junko.
But if that's what killed her, then does that mean she's really been dead for who knows how long?
That's exactly what it means. When we found her body in the garden, she'd already been dead for several days.
So then, what about the little matter of what happened last night? Makoto, you said you were attacked in your room by a masked assailant. If Mukuro had already been dead for several days, certainly it couldn't have been her. So who was it that attacked you?
The identity of the one who attacked me, I can't think of anyone else. It wasn't the headmaster. Well, I still think it was Mukuro. Wait. The mastermind?
I got it! The one who attacked me was the true mastermind. When we discovered Mukuro in the garden wearing the same mask, I naturally assumed she must have been the one who attacked me. But I was wrong. It wasn't her at all. It was the mastermind.
I still think Mukuro's the mastermind, though it has to be.
What are you laughing at?
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just getting a little impatient sitting here listening. I think I'm gonna jump in. Let's start off with a nice, easy question. Your assumption that I attacked Makoto is just that, right? An assumption. You can't really know who was under that mask, can you? I mean, that's the whole point of a mask. The true identity of the masked attacker is Mukuro Ikusaba. At least, that's what I think. Do you have any evidence that might convince me otherwise?
No, there's no way Mukuro is the one that attacked me, even if I didn't see their face. Mukuro had a very obvious Fenrir tattoo. Comparing that to the masked attacker should be obvious. Now I'm wondering, Monokuma file, that must have to absorb something.
You never saw their face, right? So you can't have any idea who was under that mask. I'm telling you now, it was Mukuro Ikusaba.
That must be what I shoot.
You're wrong.
Because he's got to be wrong.
Even without seeing their face,
Give me Kyoko
there's
Sissa.
another part of the attacker we can use to prove it wasn't her.
Oh? And what is this other part?
The hand.
Is it the right hand? Or the left hand?
Oh, wait.
Maybe the right foot. Or perhaps the left foot.
Hold on. Right hand.
Or
It was
could
right hand.
be the hips.
Okay. It was the right hand because I remember how the body was laying. Her most noticeable feature, the tattoo that marked her membership at Fenrir. That tattoo was in a certain easy-to-spot area. Okay, right hand.
Never saw their face.
We need to shoot what
right?
Monokuma says here.
So you can't have any idea who was under that mask. I'm telling you now, it was Mukuro.
No, it's wrong.
Yeah, I remember the body was laying so that the right hand was facing.
Mukuro had a tattoo on her right hand, if I remember correctly. A representation of Fenrir. In other words, a wolf tattoo.
Then how in the hell could that have been Junko unless that's a fake tattoo?
But I saw the right hand of the person who attacked me. And there was no such tattoo. So there's no way the person behind the mask was Mukuro.
Yeah, well, okay. You got me. I guess it wasn't her. But that still doesn't prove that it was me. It could have been, you know, someone else, right?
Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I all have solid alibis for that entire night.
Yeah! We were in the gym tearing you apart, so it could have been any of us.
Oh, okay, sure. It couldn't have been any of you. But what about Kyoko? It totally could have been her. Uh-oh, no snappy comeback. Did I score a bullseye?
If you insist, I don't mind showing you.
Huh? Show me what?
What do you think? I'll show you the one thing that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it wasn't me.
Her hands. Before anyone could say anything. Kyoko was removing her gloves.
Your hands!
Without thinking, I let out a gasp. It was more than just a little burned skin.
Awful, isn't it? It happened when I was first learning to be a detective. I was inexperienced.
I thought you didn't want anyone to see those scars.
If it means we get another step closer to unmasking the mastermind, it doesn't really bother me.
Yeah, like we could possibly die here, Makoto. Some things are a little bit more important. Kyoko seemed to savor the words as she said them. Then she put her gloves back on.
My scars should suffice as proof. Makoto, did the person who attacked you have scars like mine?
No, not at all. I'm positive.
Then this much has been made clear. There can be no doubt that the one who attacked Makoto is the true mastermind.
This is just awful. On top of my secret being revealed, I had to look at those positively grotesque scars of yours. Sorry, did I say that out loud? I do hope I didn't hurt your feelings.
Not at all. You can say whatever you want.
Sure, as long as it means pushing me farther into the corner, right? But I'm not cornered just yet. Because if you haven't noticed, the circumstances surrounding Mukuro's death are totally unknown.
That's true. All we know right now is she was killed a good while before this morning.
On the contrary, we don't know anything other than that.
You're not going to tell us she was already dead before we arrived here or something, are you?
In that regard, you have nothing to worry about. I promise you, without a doubt, she died after our little killing game began here.
Then somehow she was killed in secret without any of us knowing.
And after she died, who knows how much time went by before we found her, right? Did the culprit stash her somewhere? She couldn't have been in the garden the whole time, could she?
No, because we were in the garden.
If she was, she would have been totally decomposed. Just like your brain.
Then, she was being stored somewhere?
The biolab.
But to hide a body here, to just store it somewhere?
There's only one place. I can't think of anywhere else the body could have been stored. The kitchen, the pool, biolab.
I got it! Mukuro's body was probably kept hidden in the biolab.
Biolab? You mean on the 5th floor?
That's right. It's actually set up for use as a morgue. So it's the perfect place to hide a body. And it'd keep the body preserved at the same time.
Then you're also saying the body was moved from the biolab to the garden.
And I have no doubt that that's exactly what happened. In fact, I have proof.
Proof that shows the body was carried from the biolab to the garden. There's something that made its way from the biolab to the garden. That's hard.
I got it! What makes me so sure the body was carried from the biolab to the garden is the tarp that we found in the garden. When I was checking it over again, I noticed something. I noticed that some text had been stamped on one corner of the tarp.
Oh, it says biolab.
Holy cow! How'd you notice that tiny little thing?
Makoto's nitpicky nature seems to have surfaced with perfect timing.
This proves that the tarp originally came from the biolab. In fact, there's a whole stack of tarps just like it in there.
So when the killer moved the body to the garden, they must have grabbed a tarp to wrap it in. Then they simply left it as it was to protect against the sprinklers, and put the coat on it afterwards.
You made everything sound so amazingly consistent.
That's just a wild guess. Where's your evidence? Prove that the body was wrapped in a tarp and moved.
There is no evidence. I was simply explaining what I think happened. But you seem to be getting pretty worked up about it, wouldn't you say?
Worked up?
Now that the conversation has turned to the topic of the biolab, you must be getting pretty nervous. Because the key to uncovering your secret identity is hidden within that room, isn't it?
You talking about unmasking the mastermind?
You see, the biolab contained an inconsistency. One so major it can't be overlooked.
An inconsistency in the biolab. Could you be talking about?
La la la, I can't hear you. La 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 la.
Such a child. Oh well, just ignore him.
I need to pull myself together and think. The inconsistency in the biolab. Could you be talking about? What was in the biolab? The tarp, the desk, the doors. Maybe she means the fact that there were only 9 lights.
Hey, by the way, Makoto, what about that one thing?
What one thing?
What do you think I'm talking about? Your family.
What? What?
Don't tell me you forgot about that video message. So what do you think? Are you sure your family's still okay?
Why are you bringing that up now?
Your mom, your dad, your little sister. What do you think has happened to your family?
I'm still wondering if there was some kind of big event that happened.
Are they really as safe as you might have assumed?
Stop talking about that!
Calm down, Makoto. He wants you to get upset.
Yeah, I need to calm down. Can't let him get to me. He's just saying that because he knows we're getting close to the truth of the biolab. So if I want to shut him up, I need to expose the inconsistency and slam him with it. The inconsistency has to be that one area where the numbers don't match up, the lights. Oh, hell.
Are you sure about this? That's impossible! Are you sure about this? That's impossible! What do you want? Are you sure about this? That's impossible! Are you sure about this? That's impossible! Are you sure about this? That's impossible!
Oh man, why am I bad at this now?
That's impossible!
Whew, that was close.
I'm not listening!
Oh, shoot, come on. Aw, darn it.
Better luck next time! Are you sure about this? I'm not listening!
This should prove it.
I hate the controls for trying to change bullets because it doesn't like hang up long enough to let you cycle through them. That was hard.
The inconsistency Kyoko's talking about is the lights.
What are you talking about? What about the lights?
Like I said before, the biolab also acts as a morgue. And as part of that, a giant refrigerator was installed in there. That's where everyone who's died is stored.
And it was set up so that when a slot had a body in it, a blue light would turn on.
In other words, if the blue light is on, that means there's a body in that slot.
But I counted up the number of blue lights that were on, including the one Mukuro was in, and there were only 9.
Why does that matter? You gotta give me the bite-sized version here, man.
9 lights doesn't make sense. The number of lights that should be on is 10.
I got it! 10 of the lights should have been on. Any other number is incredibly suspicious.
Suspicious?
That's simple. Just recall who's died here so far, and it should become clear.
That's right. That's the key to solving this mystery. Sayaka died first. Junko was second. Leon was third. Chihiro was fourth. Mondo was fifth. Taka was sixth, and Hifumi was seventh. Celeste was eighth. Sakura was ninth. And the victim number 10 was Mukuro.
So 10 people in all?
That's right. Any other number should make you immediately suspicious. But according to the lights in the biolab, only 9 people were being stored there.
You're saying a dead body just up and disappeared?
I got it! The mastermind destroyed one of the bodies to get rid of evidence.
But if they wanted to do that, they would have destroyed Mukuro's body, since they actually killed her. And yet, her body was left alone.
Then, whose body disappeared?
It may very well be that none of them disappeared.
But if that's true, then why doesn't the body count match?
Including Monokuma's executions, there have apparently been 10 deaths, but there were only 9 bodies.
Someone didn't die.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
I'm completely lost. How can the number of victims be less than the number of murders?
The reason there are less bodies and murders, the explanation for more murders and victims. Why is that? What would it take for it to make sense? Only 9 murders took place. The mastermind destroyed a body where the same person was killed twice. The same person was killed twice because that body that was blown up, we're assuming, was Mukuro or Junko or something.
I got it! What about if the same person was killed twice?
Which would still mean only 9 murders took place, right? So the other one... Wouldn't the other one make sense?
Killed twice?
Officially, 10 murders have been committed so far, but one of the victims may have been murdered, and then murdered again.
Murdered and murdered again?
If that's the case, there could have been 10 killings, but still only 9 victims, right?
Technically, you're right, I guess. But still, something like that.
Could easily have happened. No, it is what happened.
Sounds like you're already convinced. Then can you tell us who was killed twice?
It was Mukuro, of course. Before she was killed as Mukuro Ikusaba, she was killed as someone else.
And that's why the body had to be stored in the biolab until the moment we found it in the garden.
No, that's crazy talk. She was killed as someone else? Come on! Besides, who could that someone else even have been?
All you have to do is look at those bodily injuries of hers, and that will become obvious.
Nothing's gonna become obvious. Because Kyoko's totally delusional.
Monokuma File 5. I probably have to absorb something.
Who is this someone else that Mukuro was killed as? Was it Sayaka Maizono?
No.
Junko Enoshima? Leon Kawata? Chihiro Fujisaki?
We need to absorb Junko.
Mando Owada?
Maybe.
Kiyotaka Ishimaru? Hifumi Yamada? Celestia Lu... whatever? Or maybe... Sakura Ogami? No. There's no way anyone was murdered twice!
Okay, we gotta absorb the name and then shoot that. That makes sense. Mukuro died from the wounds she had all over her body. Wasn't there someone else who suffered the same sort of injury? Alright, we need Junko.
Who is this someone else that Mukuro was killed as? Was it Sayaka Maizono? Junko Enoshima? Leon Kawata? No. There's no way anyone was murdered.
Gaia.
No, that's wrong. Junko. Wasn't her fatal injury pretty similar to Mukuro's?
What do you mean?
Well, remember what happened to her? She was impaled by a bunch of spears, all over her body.
And Mukuro died from a number of wounds across her body. When you compare that to the stab wounds Junko suffered...
Then the similarities match?
So, are they saying Junko wasn't Junko in the first place? She was Mukuro, but... how's that?
Yes, and those are the only fatal injuries that match up. That explains why those 2 bodies are actually one and the same.
So let me see if I have this straight. Junko, or someone going by that name, was stabbed to death with multiple spears. Then her body was kept in the biolab for however long before being dragged out again. Only this time, it was presented as the corpse of one Mukuro Ikusaba.
It all matches up, right? Those wounds Junko suffered could easily be these same injuries.
It's really true? Mukuro and Junko are the same person?
Then who's the 16? Wait,
Wait, so then... What does it all mean?
yeah, I'm with Hiro.
It means that there haven't been 10 victims, but 9. Which also means that among the people we thought were dead, 1 is still alive.
And that's the true identity of the mastermind?
Who is it? Who's behind all this?
The person we knew as Junko was actually Mukuro. And then they died. So did they have a wolf tattoo on their hands the whole time and we just never noticed it? So Junko was Mukuro, so is there an actual Junko?
We already know the answer to that. It's Mukuro. She's still alive.
It can't be, she has a tattoo. But she's got the wounds, I don't know.
She took Junko's body and made it look like she was the one who died.
That's what I originally thought.
So Mukuro is still alive. She's gotta be.
But if Toko's wrong, that means there's still a Junko that wasn't the Junko we knew.
A little silence? Then I must be right. I'm right, aren't I?
That's the only thing that makes sense, I think. Mukuro alive. The one that's still alive is Mukuro. But can we really believe that? No, there's no way. There's no way Mukuro Ikusaba is still alive. Mukuro's profile injury or the Monokuma file.
The body we found in the garden. It wasn't Mukuro.
Then she's still alive?
That's right. She made it look like Junko's body was her. So the mastermind's true identity is Mukuro.
What do you say, Monokuma? Do you give up?
Well, it's not anything we would refute. For that to be true, then that couldn't have been her body we found in the garden. Is that really possible? I'm not sure about this one. I don't have a lot of time. Mukuro's
Wasn't Mukuro.
injury
Then she's still alive?
profile.
She made it look like Junko's body was her. So the mastermind's true identity is Mukuro.
What do you say, Monokuma? Do you give up?
I'm guessing I need to shoot the first one. For that to be true, then that couldn't have been her body we found in the garden. Is that really possible?
The body we found in the garden. It wasn't Mukuro.
Wait,
No, it's wrong.
the vital stats. We need a profile for that. It just hit me right there.
No, the body we found in the garden was Mukuro. That's one thing we can be sure of.
Because of the vital stats.
The body's appearance and measurements are consistent with her records. Right, Kyoko?
She was 5 foot 6 inches tall and weighed 97 pounds. Her vitals were 31, 21, 32.
Wait, I thought it was 5'7".
Everything in her profile is consistent with that corpse.
And then there's the matter of the Fenrir tattoo. So there's no question it's her.
But if Mukuro's not the mastermind, then who's actually still alive?
Someone's made it look like they died, but they're actually still alive. There's only one person it could be. Well, no one else would make sense unless I say Junko. What?
Here's my answer. Junko is still alive. It's the only possibility.
Are you sure about that?
Huh?
I admit, since Mukuro is undoubtedly dead, Junko does seem to be the only other explanation. But we saw her get impaled. She died right before our very eyes. If Junko were still alive, the death we saw would had to have been some kind of charade. But you yourself confirmed she was dead, did you not?
Now that you mentioned it, I gently placed my hand on Junko's lifeless body. I touched her wrist to check for her pulse like they do in movies and stuff. But she really is dead. There wasn't anything else to say, she was gone. I did check, absolutely, and I could say for sure.
She was dead. There's no question. Junko was dead.
So, the idea that she's still alive.
It must be wrong.
Then you're withdrawing your previous statement?
I know you gave it your best shot, but too bad. I guess your conclusion was a dud. Too bad, too bad.
This case hasn't been decided just yet.
Oh?
You haven't given up already, have you, Makoto?
Huh.
No, of course not. There's no way I'd give up that easy.
That's all well and good, but how do you intend to solve the problem standing in your way? Junko absolutely died. Mukuro absolutely died.
Then both of them are dead, right? There can't be any kind of survivor story.
I think we need to look at this from the opposite direction.
Huh? The opposite direction?
Let's assume Junko is still alive. If so, how could she have survived?
How could Junko have survived? I checked her, she was dead, I'm sure of it. But still, if she were alive somehow, could it be that Junko is not the one that died? It wasn't Junko, but somebody else entirely. Maybe she used some sort of trick. Hangman's Gambit. What? Reap. Replaced? It has to be it. She was replaced. Okay.
Now I understand. That's it. What if she switched places with someone else?
Switch places?
That's right. Before the spears could kill her, she got someone to take her place. Specifically, Mukuro Ikusaba.
Then that would make it Mukuro's corpse that showed up later.
Which is why the body's height and weight and everything match Mukuro's profile, right?
Well, then it was wrong. It was Mukuro in Handbook, too.
I don't know anything about this switching places thing, but that had to be Junko who got stabbed to death, right?
Yeah, you're saying they switched? When could they even have done that? Right when she was about to die? Like she used some kind of ninja replacement technique?
Good point. There's just no way they could have switched like that. So maybe the whole idea is wrong.
There has to be some way. I need to figure out how to explain how they could have switched. They switched... Oh, Jesus, I don't know. They switched at the moment of death. Well, we're arguing that couldn't have been the case. They switched after death. Or they switched at the beginning.
I got it! The two of them may have switched places from the very beginning.
What? From the beginning?
Yes, from the moment we first met. If that's when they switched, then they wouldn't have had to switch at the moment of death, right? After all, the one we saw at that point would have already been Mukuro.
Hold on. So, you're saying the Junko we first met was actually Mukuro all along?
And nobody noticed her wolf tattoo?
You'd already met her?
I had, like, a normal conversation with her.
When we first met, none of us knew who anyone else was. So Mukuro could have simply told us her name was Junko, and we never would have known the difference.
But why?
That would easily allow the two of them to switch places from the very beginning.
Wait, but Mukuro had a tattoo on the back of her hand, right?
Thank you, somebody brought it up.
Junko never had any tattoo like that, did she?
She could have hidden it with foundation or something like that. If she did, it likely melted away in the explosion, exposing the tattoo after the body was extinguished. Plus, there were the fake nails found on the hands of Mukuro's body. They were the same fake red nails she was wearing when we all met for the first time.
But if she really did use foundation...
Correct. Even if there was no tattoo on her hand, I couldn't say for certain it wasn't Mukuro. So I'm glad nobody noticed that glaring hole when we were trying to figure out who attacked Makoto. But too bad for you, Monokuma. You can't deny it anymore.
Wait, so this whole thing was a setup from the very beginning?
If that's true, it was quite an elaborate plan to be sure, making it look like Mukuro was Junko.
The reason such an elaborate plan was possible is because the two of them were working together.
Oh. Why?
So Mukuro, the ultimate despair, teamed up with someone like her. In other words, it would be fair to say that Junko herself was also the ultimate despair.
What's wrong? Lost the will to fight back?
I think he's just afraid.
Afraid? What's that mean, afraid? Fear is only possible where hope is possible. I only have despair, so fear is an alien concept to me.
Then why haven't you been saying anything?
Because it's a bunch of nonsense. Junko's my secret identity? As if.
Then why did you try and protect Junko's real identity?
Gotcha there.
I tried to protect her identity? When did I do that?
So he still refuses to admit it, but he can try to deceive us all he wants. It doesn't matter. Because I've already figured it out. He tried to hide Junko's identity, and not just once, but twice. First time was during our latest investigation. Biolab's secret. What was that? Okay. No. Oh, I didn't mean to hit that. Okay, and I don't think this is what I needed to corner Monokuma.
Shoot!
Looks like I just embarrassed myself in front of everyone. I accidentally hit the mouse button on that. Okay. Let's go back down. Cost myself some health there. I ain't good. Biolab lights, group photo. Wait, is it the group photo? Because her face doesn't show up in that. Hold on, what matters now is presenting the right evidence. It has to do what Monokuma tried to keep me from seeing during the investigation.
Shoot!
Tried to hide her identity not once but twice. Let me go all the way down here. He stopped the interview DVD.
I got it! While I was in the AV room, watching the DVD of our interviews with the headmaster.
That's right. It wasn't just the monitor, the DVD player itself had apparently turned off. Which of course meant that the DVD wasn't playing anymore. What the heck just happened? Oopsie, looks like it broke, out of service. What? It just so happened to break just now. Now, then, when, doesn't matter. Failure can strike anywhere, anytime. That's what failure is, right?
You made sure I couldn't finish watching the video. And the reason you did that is because you didn't want me to see the real Junko, did you?
Oh, yeah! If everyone was in that video, of course Junko would have had to show up.
And if Makoto saw the real Junko, it would have been totally obvious that the Junko we met was an imposter.
That whole power outage thing was just a fluke.
No, it wasn't a fluke. The mastermind definitely orchestrated that power outage. And that's not the only time they tried to hide Junko's identity. The mastermind tried to cover up one other piece of evidence. I've got to reveal that. It's the group photo, right? It's the only other thing I can think of. Oh, this guy. Oh god, this again.
What do you want? What do you want? Are you sure about this? What are you even talking about?
Oh man, phew. Photo Kyoko and a headmaster. Group photo. Come on.
This should prove it.
Okay. Yeah, trying to switch through those bullets is very awkward.
The video wasn't the only thing you tried to cover up. You did the same thing with this group photo.
Oh.
I noticed it just a little while ago, when we were all comparing the photos we'd gotten. In all the photos, there's a certain similarity, an unusual circumstance.
What's so unusual about them?
The unusual circumstance common to all these pictures. The unusual circumstance is Junko's face.
I got it! Junko's face. The one thing common to every single photo is that you can't see her face. It's hard to believe her face would just happen to be hidden in every single picture, don't you think? And on top of that, in this photo, you can see that Mukuro is clearly visible. So in other words, at that point, the two of them hadn't switched yet. With all that in mind, there's no doubt that the girl whose face is hidden here is the real Junko. Which is why you had to have pictures that didn't show her face. Because if we could have seen her face, then it would have clearly revealed that the Junko in the pictures wasn't the Junko that we knew.
Xanadu!
What?
I believe everything Makoto said is true. Junko and Mukuro switched places before we met either of them.
So she killed Mukuro, who had taken her place, making it look like she died. And the real Junko is still alive.
And she's the one behind this whole murderous situation. This killing game.
Well, this is a direction I did not expect this game to take.
She's the true mastermind and the ultimate despair.
Xanadu times 2!
With this, the identity and the crimes of the mastermind have been exposed.
No, wait! Hold
bother trying to deny it. There's no more room for debate. You don't have anywhere left to run. I'll prove everything, right now!
Oh, comic book time, okay. Oh god, okay, I got almost a half hour. That's good. There's all the people at the beginning. She waves. The boys and girls' bathroom must be an old one. That's the body being carried. That's them being two different people, I guess. That's Kyoko stopping the mastermind. That's the knife. That's the body on the pulley. That's okay, that's old. That's Taka. That's the explosion. That's the incinerator, which shouldn't have anything to do with this. That's the body being pulled out. That's the body being discovered. That's Kyoko walking in. And that's the mastermind putting the mask on the body, I guess. Okay, so I'm not sure what the beginning thing is. Because everything else is clearly a thing, so I'm guessing it's this. There's Act 2, she gets killed. And they're two separate people. Then here's the mastermind going in to get the body. So that one we don't need because that's used already. So we don't need any of those. This we must need there. Tar being pulled, the body being pulled out. He takes the body. Takes Junko there. Or, I'm sorry, Mukuro there. Leaves Mukuro. They put the mask on. They have the knife. They're going to stab Makoto. Kyoko sees what's going on. Unless this is that. This is where we're probably going to be out of order of things here a little bit, I think. Kyoko sees him. Kyoko's stopping him there, maybe? They're looking back. Koto's like, what the hell, I'm just trying to sleep. Then there's the body in the garden. Takes the mask off. Puts the mask on the body. And then Act 5. We all discover the body as before it was blown up. Mastermind's watching. Toko takes the mask off. Byakuya's like, don't do that. It blows up because of the bomb. And then there's something else. The blown up body. Okay, the only places I think I might have messed this up was here during the attack, because I can't quite tell what's going on there.
The killer is you! We met the ultimate fashionista, Junko and Oshima, right after we all arrived here. But that wasn't the real Junko. The girl we saw before us was actually the 16th student who had taken Junko's place. And that girl's name was Mukuro Ikusaba. But it wasn't long before she died at the hands of Monokuma. In other words, the mastermind, Junko and Oshima.
So wait, she switched positions with the mastermind and then attacked the mastermind? Did she not know they were the mastermind before they switched?
Her body was kept in a biolab, which had been converted into a morgue. Until Junko decided to put her body to use. Junko dragged the body out of the biolab, using the tarp to carry her to the garden. She fabricated the murder to try and friend Kyoko, who'd proven to be one big thorn in her side. Meanwhile, she wanted us all to think Mukuro was still alive and hiding somewhere inside the school. so she put on a mask and then attacked me.
Okay, I think we're good.
After making sure I'd gotten a good look at the mask, she left the room. Then she put the same mask on Mukuro's body. This was all to make us think the person who attacked me and the corpse were one and the same. She wanted us to believe the murder had only recently taken place. Finally, by strapping a bomb to the body, she was able to destroy any remaining evidence. She needed to hide the body's true identity. She had to make sure we didn't find out it was actually the same person we'd met in the beginning. This is the truth behind Mukuro's murder, and the one who carried it all out is the true mastermind, the one controlling Monokuma. The real Junko Enoshima!
Wow, I never would have guessed that in the beginning of this.
That's the whole story behind this incident. Well, what do you have to say to that?
What? Are you broken again?
You can't get out of this, so don't even try.
Come on! It's time you finally revealed yourself!
It's not like you're an endangered species or something. How long do you plan to keep hiding?
Give it up, Junko. The game's over.
Over?
Did you really think the story would end once we reached the climax of the case? Wrong! There's still plenty more to go!